Good morning, everybody.
I am in sunny Florida today. I'm visiting my mom on vacation. So
Awesome. We were just talking about the temperature.
Yeah, it's not been super warm, but it's a lot warmer than where you are today. So that's nice.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of rain and it's been kind of gloomy over the night. I think they're giving it for us to have a little bit of snow or something, maybe some flurries.
Yeah, no, we don't have any of that. I'm in Naples, Florida, and it's anticipated to be 70 out today. So.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad at all. I like to come down to Florida. Let's see who we've got in the show here. I know we've got Deb Rocky.
Good morning.
Good morning, Deb. Thank you for tuning in. We got Nikki. Hello, Nikki. If you guys are here, drop it in the comments, say good morning or something. That way we know you're watching. There's Chad. Chad, it says jamming. Good morning. I love it. Zachary, good morning to you, my friend. It's good to see everybody. Hopefully everybody's had a great week so far. You know, it's been a good week for us. It's been a busy one, a lot of meetings and all that. Jane, when did you head down to Florida?
We left Tuesday night.
Tuesday?
Yeah, we drove, you got down there, with COVID and all that. I have an 87-year-old mother, so we're trying to isolate as much as possible. And
Yep, definitely want to do that. So, guys, we're going to give a couple more minutes here. Got people logging on. If you guys want to, drop in the comments that you're here. Just say hello. I'd like to know that you guys are watching.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to Mark here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that interview. Mark Given. It's going to be good. And we got Emily Hacker-Todd as well. So it's going to be a good little interview with them. Kathy, good morning, Kathy. Awesome. All righty. Well, you know what? I think it's time to start this show, Jane.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's do it. All right, welcome to another Advantage Live show. I'm your host, Adam Gullett, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Jane Polipchak. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to have you guys here. We're excited about this episode. We have a couple special guests with us, and the very first one we're going to have on the show is Mark Given. He is the founder of the Trust-Based Philosophy, and he's also written 9 books, #1 bestsellers on Amazon as well. So he's going to be coming on first, and we're going to have a great interview with him. And then we've got Emily Hacker-Todd, which is one of our realtors out of our Lexington office. So we're going to do a deep dive into her and how she got into real estate and all that. And then we'll end up with a little bit of a topic kind of about being overwhelmed. I know this is kind of the beginning of the year. Right now, we kind of got a good plan about what we want to do for our, this year. But that usually comes with a little bit of that feeling of overwhelmed at the idea of having to accomplish all those. Wouldn't you say, Jane?
Yeah. At the start of the year, we have all these goals and we make all these lists. And then sometimes you can get overwhelmed with where do I start? How do I keep on track? So we're going to give some coping mechanisms for that today.
Yep. It'll be good. It'll be a little bit of just a quick discussion and we'll be done. But in the meantime, let's get started with the first segment with Mark Given. So we're going to fire up that segment right now. All right, I'm excited to have Mark Given on the show. And before we bring him on, I want to give him the proper introduction that he deserves. So here it is. Mark Given is the founder of the Trust-Based Philosophy and the Trust-Based Academy, and is grateful to be an Amazon #1 best-selling author of 9 books. Mark is a regular guest authority on national and international podcasts and radio shows from Hong Kong to London on the building, maintaining, and repairing trust in the last 15 years. He has spoken or taught at more than 1,200 programs and events and another 100 or so virtual programs for sales and service companies, leadership teams, large and small companies, associations, hotels, HR experts, colleges, real estate companies, and associations, and state and local governments. His free weekly blog, Mark's Minute, is read by thousands of people across the world every Wednesday. And Mark invites you to sign up for it too. And we'll give you guys a link to how to do that later. And we are thrilled to have him with us today. So please join with me in giving a warm welcome to our special guest and trust, sales and relationship authority, Mark Given. Mark, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, we don't clap anymore. I guess we just snap. So
yeah, there's some snapping going on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, we were so thrilled to have you.
Yeah, we're so thankful you could take the time out to be with us this morning.
My pleasure. Yeah. Absolutely my pleasure.
So guys, before we get started, everybody's watching. Be sure, if you guys have any questions for Mark as we go through this, just put a capital Q in the comment section and we'll pop that up there and ask Mark as we go. We love audience participation. So be sure to just put a Q in front of your question. That way we know it's a question and we will address it as we go. So Mark, thank you again.
I'm glad to be here. I'm ready to go. You can ask me anything you want. And,
okay. Well,
I'd prefer you direct it towards building, maintaining, and repairing trust. But if it's something else, I'm game for that too.
So tell us a little bit about that, Mark. Tell us about your trust-based philosophy and why it's so important to build trust in relationships.
So I first of all, your audience should know that I have a real estate license. I've been a realtor for 21 years. So although I'm not out there practicing real estate like you guys are every single day, I still got my hands dabbling in it, and I'm grateful to do that. So here's really the foundation of why I talk about trust. I learned at a young age that if you have trust, your world can grow and thrive, right? If people love you, trust you, if they really know that you have a high level of integrity. But when you don't, and you can destroy trust in just a moment. You can spend years building it and destroy it so quickly, your whole life crumbles down. But what I found was interesting was, as I studied it and read it, was more interested in implementing it in my own life, all I ever found was stuff about the concept of trust. What is trust? We know what that is. What I didn't find was the science of trust. In other words, how do we do it? How do we build it? How do we maintain it? And how do we repair it? So I went to work trying to figure out the science behind it. And I just found, it was out there. I just had to put it all together. And as a result, I've written a whole bunch of books. I've actually got my 10th book getting ready to come out. Called
awesome.
Entrepreneur. And because certainly in the world like we're all in the real estate world, we are entrepreneurs. I wrote this book with my oldest son, Blaine, who's a serial entrepreneur. And so anyway, the principle is the whole foundation of what I teach is about the pyramid of trust, which is there are 4 levels, and we can certainly talk about that. Oh, there you go. Hey, how cool is that? So obviously I must have sent that to you, or you found it online someplace. So I really teach the science of building, maintaining, and repairing trust. And if you got a moment, I can give you the Cliff Notes version, and I'll take you through all 4 if you want to hear that. Would you like?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the first level is, we all know that we only have one opportunity to make a first impression. We all know that. In today's world, we call that, we use kind of a tough word. We call it profiling. And we all do that. We profile immediately. When we've never met somebody before, we form an opinion. The science behind that, though, is we never really knew, right? Well, how much time do you have to set the right example, to give the right impression? And what we've learned, the science of it now proves that we have 50 milliseconds. We form an opinion so quickly when we just look at somebody, and we're building that impression based on, are they a good person? So I call it care, or competence. In other words, are they, now I don't mean highly intelligent, but they look like they're not axe murderers, right? So, so in other words, do they look competent, and do they look caring? And what's more important in the grand opening is caring. Are you a good person? If you want to build trust, you have to show that you actually are interested in other people. Now, obviously, the second piece to that is, well, what if you already know somebody? I mean, we all know that sometimes somebody walks in the room and you can immediately say, ooh, I'm not sure I want to talk to them today. And So that 50 milliseconds drops all the way down to 33 milliseconds that we form this opinion about each other. So we need to be our best always, right? Whenever we're out in public, we need to be our
and
best.
be aware of it.
That's right. Then we go to rapport. Now, the next level of building, maintaining, and repairing trust is once somebody sees us, they want to connect with us or they want to re-engage with us. Rapport is about listening. So we would listen more than we talk. People like to be heard. They want to be heard. And so in the world of just relationships, but clearly in sales, we need to be so good at listening that there's an old proverb that says, listen with the intent to hear. And most people actually listen with the intent to talk, right?
Oh,
we
yeah.
listen so that we can say our next brilliant, thought. And but we're not listening, right? In fact, we see oftentimes in that grand opening when we meet somebody the first time, they say their name, and then we walk away and we don't even remember their name. Right? We can't even remember their name. So we know that we're not listening with the intent to hear. So rapport is about listening. My dad taught me that the best mathematical equation on that is the 90-10 ratio. You talk 10% of the time and you listen 90% of the time. And Abraham Lincoln even said, better to remain silent and thought a fool than to open my mouth and remove all doubt. So
that's right.
so the 90-10 rule. So then we go to the maintenance stage. I don't want to prolong this too long. The maintenance stage is about, now that we have a relationship with people, how do we maintain that trust? Well, we do that by being givers. The world loves givers. They love people that are generous. And I don't mean that it's not about money. It's about time, care, effort, all the things that you can do to show that you want to help other people succeed. You're not envious of them. You want to embrace their success, learn from their success. The world loves givers. They love people that are generous. I always say, you don't give until it hurts. You give until it works. And I don't think that manipulative. Everybody's different. So you got to do things for them. And in the sales world, give. The more you give, the more you get back. I think Zig Ziglar said you can have anything in life that you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So, and then the last is probably one I end up speaking a lot about, which is the repair stage. We're human. We all make mistakes. So how do we fix it? We've done all this work to have a great grand opening, to build, trust with rapport and to maintain trust. And in a moment, we can say something or do something foolish. So I have something called the RAS system, which is 4 steps to fixing, apologizing, going through the proper process. It's RAS stands for recognize, admit, show some sorrow, sympathy, and then you just stop. You don't ever do it again, right? I mean, everybody hates when somebody says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll never do that again," and then they do it again, right? They're sincere about it. So we cannot guarantee that people will accept your apology, but I can promise you that the science of repair and trust shows that if you go through the proper steps, those 4 steps, recognize, admit, show some sorrow and sympathy. Maybe you have to do some, there's some pay. I mean, maybe you got to do something.
Yeah. Seriously.
Right. And then you're sincere and you stop doing it. You just don't do it again. And then in time, people will say, well, you know what? Mark blew it on that one, but I love, he's done it right so many times. I'm going to try to forgive him. Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the key right there is the forgiveness part. Not only just being able to forgive others, but to forgive yourself. So you keep doing this process.
The same stupid stuff over.
The same stupid stuff over and over. And, and I think that's it. And it's funny, we keep going back to this. It's relationships. But that repair part to me does make sense why you speak the most about that, because it's so easy to make those mistakes. And if you've not built the trust in that relationship up to that point, that one mistake can just make it all crumble. Yeah. And then therefore your foundation is gone.
The earlier you make the mistakes, the more damaging it is, because you haven't had a chance to build levels and layers of trust. And so we need to keep filling the bank account. And I don't mean with money, right? The relationship bank account with proof that we do care and that we are trustworthy. I mean, the highest level of a relationship is when people really know that you have such a level of integrity that they can count on you, right? They know that you're going to come through for them. And we're all human, so we make mistakes.
Yeah.
We just need to go through. But those 4 steps, that's the science of building, maintaining, repairing trust. And I can promise you there's some listeners today that have never, ever known maybe any of that, right? They may have thought some of it, but they didn't know. And there's obviously, it goes much deeper than that. There's much more. You just got the Cliff Notes version, but
I think that's good. It gives a good perspective about where you're coming from inside of your books. I'm actually going through the Trust-Based Leadership book. I'm diligently like reading it and answering the questions. So it challenged me. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, that's a very good perspective. What I like about your book too is I can do that right in the morning, right when I'm doing my own study and everything else. It is like the very first thing I do in the morning. And it really does help me to get my mindset right on what I'm really doing with the people around me, is trying to build trust. And especially as a leader, I'm trying to make sure that they do trust me, and that I'm not violating anything that they perceive that I'm about, and I think that's what I really enjoy about it.
Well, thank you. That's very generous of you. All of my books in the Trust-Based Philosophy series have been written exactly the same way. It's a simple 1 or 2 page. Here's the principle, and then a question to make you think, and then there's a place for you to write in the book if you want. Right. So here's how I apply it to me. I didn't want to write the books all about why you should listen to me. It's how do you improve yourself? So whether it be trust-based leadership or trust-based selling or trust-based success, trust-based networking, my new one that came out was trust-based time management and productivity. And then the brand new one that's getting ready to come out is trust-based entrepreneur. And I'm not done yet. There's a whole bunch more I want to write. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
So Mark, can we give a little example? I know when you were going through the different steps, I thought of, as an agent, you meet somebody usually the first time over the phone. They've contacted you, your relationship begins there. They may have an idea in their mind, or they form their perception of you, over the phone. And then, if you show up for your meeting, sometime late, or your appointment late, you've already kind of broken that trust. And, it's really easy to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. I got tied up. I was in traffic. I was in whatever. But then, like you say, if that behavior persists, you're not mending that relationship any. You're not rebuilding that trust.
Sure. So I would answer that by, boy, you actually had a whole bunch of pieces in there.
Yeah.
And so let me just start with especially because of COVID, we just don't have people that as often that call up and say, can you come show me this house? Right. So
yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying it tends to be a lot more electronic now, whether it be a phone call, a text message, an email. And what I would say is, if you really want to build trust in those electronic communications, you need to be well prepared. And what I mean by that is you already have a series of questions that you're prepared to ask that are well thought out, that are written and maybe right in front of you, right? Yeah. So just like Adam, just like you sent me questions that were, possible questions for today, and Jane, you guys, prep me. I see, if you've been in real estate at all, anytime, you already know there's some questions that, whether it's a buyer or a seller or investor or a, commercial, you have an idea of the questions you should be asking. And then you ask the question and you listen, and really listen. And then you can better serve. You will build deeper levels of trust if you are more prepared. And so here's what that means. That means I know that every time the phone rings, we want to pick it up, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's not the right time to pick it up because we're going nuts with something else right now, maybe we should not pick it up and, let them leave a message and then call them back, listen to their message and then call them back. So there's so many different ways we can destroy trust. We can nick away at it, right? Because we're in too big a hurry. We're not really interested. We're not listening. We're not paying attention. We're not really doing the things we promised we would do on time in a timely manner. So how do we build trust? we slow down, show more care as individuals, and which is hard to do because we live in a crazy, loud world, and we're bombarded constantly with opportunities. But if you really want to build trust, you're going to have to set the time. You're going to have to be more focused on the individuals instead of just, I got to get it all done. You're better off to get, and I don't want anybody to lose customers or clients, but realistically, once you blow it and mess it up, you may never get those people back and any potential future business with them or referrals. So you mess it up. You want to build trust. You want to build deep levels of trust so that you can build your business not just off of more strangers, but off people that come to you directly because they say, you're the man, right? Or you're the woman.
Well, that's right. And I think that's actually the point. I think if you are aware of what you're in that moment, what you're trying to do with that person that's in front of you, the phone, if you understand that you're trying to build trust and your approach to building that trust, you're going to be aware about how you're interacting in every environment that you're in. If you're conscious of that and you got somebody in the room with you and you're picking up your phone and constantly looking at that, you're obviously not listening to what this pyramid is really about and you're not building trust. So I think that's a valid point.
So, it just depends on how trustworthy you want to be. And what do you want people really to think about you? Because they are going to think about you. They're not going to overthink about you, but they are going to decide whether they want to communicate with you, connect with you, do business with you, and recommend you. And if you want to build a deep, profitable business, you will think about being present and building, listening, giving, building trust. And everybody you talk to, everybody you deal with is going to be different. And so that means you can't have one, system that it works. This is what I always do. No, this is what I do for this individual.
That's good. So just here's another question for you on this. So you basically have developed this trust-based philosophy, obviously from experience. So walk us through kind of how you got started into the trust arena here, and like what kind of pitfalls and that kind of struggles did you land in that helped you kind of define this? Because we're all guilty of hitting those same ones. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but in my mind, I'm thinking, look, I've done this many times. Like I have made those mistakes, and hurt people that I thought I was building trust with and lost that trust because of myself. And what are some of those with you?
Well, I tell you, so, without giving you my whole life story, for some reason, I recognized that at a young age that I wanted my mom and dad to trust me. And although, I just did. I have an older brother and an older sister and a younger brother, and I'm the favorite child because I earned that. That's probably not true at all, but realistically, I was conscious of it from a young age, and I'm not that smart, but I recognized that at a young age, even in middle school and high school, that if I wanted to build the kind of relationships with people that I wanted to have, that I really want, the ones I wanted to have relationships with. And I don't mean romantic relationships. Later on, it went, I mean, just people that I wanted to connect with. I just recognized that was something that was important to me. And then when I got into college, and then when I got out of college, I was in the insurance business for a short period of time. And then I was in a retail I started a retail company that I built and then sold after 20 years, and then got into real estate. But it was not until I got into the real estate business that it was time that I decided, what, I think I need to figure this out on a deeper level. And here's the reality of this. I hired a coach as I'm getting older, and I thought I'm getting closer to the end than the beginning, and I don't want to leave this life with regrets. And my first book was actually called Finding My Why, Ernie's Journey, A Tale for Seekers. And it was about not leaving this life with regrets, right? And so anyway, you can find that on Amazon even, but it's not one of the trust books. But I hired a coach after I'd written 3 books. I wasn't a book coach. It was just a life coach and a business coach. and his name is James Malinchek, and he's not in the real estate business. It had nothing to do with real estate. And he actually sat down with me and he said, Mark, you know what you want more than anything is to be recognized as a person with a high level of integrity, that they can trust you. You need to write books about trust.
That's good.
I said, well, really? That's your core. I mean, that's really what you're all about. And so I went to work now studying the science of trust, not just what is trust. I didn't want to write a book just like all the other books, no disrespect, that are just about stories about building or destroying trust, right? I wanted to write about not only how to do it, but then so the trust-based pyramid came out of all of it. The 4 levels of trust came out of all of it. And what I recognized was, if we really want to do it, if we really want to build a life and a business, to be the best we can individually be. It's not about competing with others. Right. It's about being the best Jane or the best Adam, right? Or the best Mark. Then we're going to do something about it, and we need to understand it. So, and then I decided I better do this like chicken soup for the soul. You know, there's so many different categories. Maybe I should just, maybe I should attack it that way. And how many could I write? I will tell you right now, I'm thinking about 30. So,
oh, wow.
I'm only at 10, so I got 20 more to go, and I'm running out of time. So anyway, I'm thinking I got to write at least 30 more or 20 more books before I'm finished, so that I can chicken soup it, right? I mean, I can get all these different categories. I think the one after the entrepreneur book is going to be about referrals, building referrals. I've even the covers already designed on that one. So I guess I need to write the book.
Well, I honestly, I think that's key to the whole system, right? I mean, especially in real estate, referrals is the name of the game. And the only way you get referrals is if that person that you worked with trusts you.
People are never going to recommend you if they feel like they're going to be embarrassed, right? Or if they feel like that they're going to lose trust with that individual because they dropped your name, right? So it's critically important to the growth of our businesses is referrals. We need more, right? We need more. Yeah. We never have enough. We need more.
Right. That's exactly right. So give us, what do you think is, like, a new agents coming in this industry, or even the agents in general, what steps would you advise them to start doing, like, right now in their business to grow it, to build a trust-based business?
So let me just say, first of all, that this is Jane's world. I mean, I really believe, without question, statistically, the agents that invest in themselves through understanding the skills that they need to develop, that's one of the things that will create a business. They'll figure out that, I mean, they got to have the skills. So here's really 3 things. I mean, first of all, you gotta recognize that you have to have some patience in the business. Some people are fast starters, but those are the lucky ones. Now, I was told when I first got in the business, it takes 3 years to succeed. I don't believe that personally. I just want you to know, I've seen it happen too many times where somebody can get really off and running in 6 months, but it's because they're making the right steps. They may be kind of clueless as to how to do everything, but they're doing the right things the right ways. So I do believe you got to have some patience. If you don't get a listing in the first 30 days, don't freak out, especially right now, right?
That's right.
You got to have patience, which means, number 2, you got to have some cash reserves, right? In other words,
big point.
You got to have some cash reserves. You can't get into the business and think that, hey, all of a sudden I'm going to make 6 figures this year. Well, that's rare. It's not that it doesn't happen, but God bless you if that happens to anybody that's brand new listening.
Yeah, prove us wrong.
Yeah, I mean, please, and let us know how you did it so that we can help more people do the same thing and duplicate it.
That's right.
So you got to have some patience. You got to have some cash reserves, and you got to fill your brain with how to do it, right? Because real estate is, and it evolves. So what we're doing right now in real estate is different the way we're doing it than a year ago because of COVID. And the economy changes it. The market change. It's just a supply and demand business, but it's still a people business. So I would say focus on the skills. I can even tell you the 7 skills I believe you need, and focus on the skills, but then develop relationships. And it's all your success in real estate will all come from relationships, from being that good person, right? Not just the skills. So you got to have skills. Can't be stupid, right? But
That's right.
You got to be able to do it the right way, where you do a great job and then people want to do business with you again and recommend you. Your business is all built on long-term relationships.
Yeah, and being willing to learn new skills that you don't already have, because
Always changing.
it's always changing.
Always
We were talking about that earlier. It's always a changing environment, especially in real estate.
Yep.
So Mark, can you talk a little bit about those 7 skills,
You
just
want
to
them?
give examples?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, if you're driving your car, don't write these down. But if you're not driving your car, then write them down. If you're driving your car, come back and listen to it a second time. There are 7 skills. Now, I have done, not to pat myself on the back, but I've done more than 1,200 programs in the real estate industry in the past 15 years. Doesn't matter where you are, real estate is local. But I have found that there are 7 common skills that you need to master in order to build a business that's long-term successful. Number 1 is flow systems. In other words, how do you build these relationships? How do you stay in contact with people? How do you have you don't have to have this expensive CRM. You can have a piece of paper and a pencil. But if you don't have a list of your top 50 clients where you can look at it every day and fill that page so you know what to do those individuals and how to serve them, that's how you'll build a long, sustaining business. Referrals, flow systems are critical. Number 2 is you got to have buyer systems. You got to know your market better than all the people online that think they know more than you do. Real estate is local. You got to know what it takes for a buyer to succeed in your market. Then number 3 would be seller systems. So you got to have deep seller skills because you're in a competitive market. List to live. I've been saying that for a long time. It's harder to list when there's not supply, but you got to know how to help that seller accomplish what they want so that their property doesn't become stagnant and doesn't sell. So we've had flow systems, buyer systems, seller systems. Number 4 is pricing systems. When I got into real estate, all I learned was a CMA. Today, we have absorption rate pricing. We have odds of selling. We have wonderful tools to help us price right when we're working with a seller and to help buyers offer right in a competitive world, to understand what the market is saying the true value of properties are. So you got to have pricing skills. Number 5 then is understanding that real estate, there are so many different ways to sell real estate, and most real estate agents decide they want to be a generalist. But the world today is seeking experts. They want specialists. So pick a niche that you can be great in, right? Now, it doesn't mean you can't work with other people, but pick a niche that you can be the go-to person. So some people say, well, what are you talking about, Mark? Well, it could be historical properties. It could be land, right? It could be investment. You could work with investors in certain price ranges or certain groups. There's 100 different niches in real estate that you can get into. Pick a niche. Number 6 then leads to a business plan. I just want you to know that the turnover in real estate in the realtor industry is more than 50% over 5 years. And boy, that's not just brand new agents. We lose agents that have been around for a while because they don't evolve, they don't grow, they don't change with the industry. They get in a comfort zone and they're rigid. And so just know we got almost, we're pushing towards 1.5 million realtors in the country right now. I just want you to know 5 years from now, we'll probably still have 1.4, 1.5, but more than 50% of them will be different. Don't let that be you. You need a business plan so you can know profit is good, and you don't need to wait till the end of the year when it's time to pay your taxes to find out if you made any money. You need to know every single month. What are you doing? How are you doing it? What's your marketing? What's working? What's not working? What should you be doing more of? What should you be doing less of? Get a business plan. Number 7 is an exit strategy, right? An exit strategy. We're not going to do real estate forever. Nobody is. Nobody's going to be on their deathbed saying, "Oh, I wish I just had one more listing appointment," right? You're going to, at some time, you're going to slow down or you're going to leave. You need to create a plan so that you can sell your business. Now, I put that number 7 because if you do the other things, flow, buyer, seller, pricing, niche, business plan, and you have a system in place that can be duplicated. In other words, you write it down. Somebody will buy your business from you. You don't have to walk away. They'll want to buy it. So that's the 7 things, Jane. How's that?
That is awesome.
Thank you. I was trying to get them down for our agents so I could post it where they could see it.
Did you get them? Let me say it one more time.
Yeah.
Systems, buyer systems, seller systems, pricing systems, niche, business plan, exit strategy. Now, everybody listening today, you should be in at least one class every single year, expanding your knowledge and understanding one of the, I mean, for the next 7 years, you've got a class. I mean, take your CE, but Harvard says that only 10% of people in the United States have a learning mindset. Why is it easy to compete in real estate? Because there aren't that many that are doing anything beyond CE. Right, that's what Jane does. That's her expertise. She sets up classes. Take the doggone classes, right?
That's right.
And every year, besides your CE, you should be taking something else. And I would also recommend, support what you're doing locally, but go someplace else if you want to build referrals. Right? Go someplace else and build relationships with other agents and learn from them.
That is great.
If you'll do those 7 things, you won't be in that 50+% that are doing something else 5 years from now.
That's good. So, Mark, I mean, this has been really, really good. This is a lot of information, and this is really good, very relevant for the agents to be hearing. I really, really appreciate this. But before we wrap up, we're going to do the rapid fire questions.
Absolutely.
And then we'll give a time for you to plug some of your business and how people can order your books and get in contact with you and all that. So let's get started with the rapid fire questions real quick. So number 1 accomplishment so far in your life?
Husband, father, grandfather. Been married for 43 years, got 5 kids and meant to, and 9 grandchildren. And when I die, if they can honestly say, we knew that Pops loved us, then I've accomplished. That's my greatest accomplishment.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
That is good. What's the biggest lesson you would say you've learned so far?
To try every single day to be the best me I can be. I have learned that it's a failing proposition to try to compete with other people. I will always lose because there's always somebody so much better than me. And I got into a little funk for about an hour yesterday because I was comparing myself to somebody, and that's a losing proposition. So
I'm guilty.
The best me I can be. If I can just do that every single day, then I will have accomplished all I believe that I'm capable of accomplishing. So that means I have to have, a system, a plan, right? I have to have something to make sure I do that.
That's good. All right. What type of technology app can you simply just not live without?
Okay. I love a system called an app, a program out there called Fiverr, Fiverr.com. I love that. Yes. And I love that because from a market, there's nothing out there that somebody in the world is not an expert of. And that website for me, Fiverr.com, has saved my life so many times in so many different areas because I'm not an expert marketer. I'm not an expert. Right. I mean, there's just so many things I need help with, and I can go to Fiverr and I can find somebody in the world that can do it. And by the way, they're competing for my business. And so I can get a price which is reasonable. And if I don't like their services, I just go to the next person. Right. And because I haven't had to spend $10,000 to do something that. So anyway, Fiverr. It's my absolute website.
I've used Fiverr a few times too, and I agree. I mean, it's basically a website that has all the professionals for every type of either video, audio, marketing, about us pages, website design.
Anything you need is there.
Any service is there. Some of them are just $5.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, that's my favorite website.
That's good.
So, Mark, what are your goals for 2021?
So I'll make this very quick, but every year I do a book like this, every single book. So right up here on my bookshelf to my right, I have a whole series of these years after years. And so this is this year's. I pick a one word, right? So my one word this year is resilience, because we're trying to bounce back from a very difficult, changing year that we had no control over, right? And there's still much more ahead of us. So every year I have 8 categories in here of the things that I know I need to focus on: my education, my professional development, my finances, my family, fun, creating fun and having fun, my faith, I got to be physically healthy enough to manage, to function in the world. And then what am I doing to give back? So I think that's all 8 of them. I fill out a book every single year that has my affirmations in it, my goals, my plans, my thoughts.
I love that.
I carry it with me everywhere I go. It travels with me. It's never not within, it's never out of reach that I can't get it within, 60 seconds. I can go get it and look at it, can add to it, take away. So it's what I have to do to function. Right, to function, to make sure I'm trying to be the best me. So I would recommend it.
Yeah,
great idea.
Thinking that's great. I want one of those.
But anyway, so it's categories, so I know what I need to do in all of the 8 different categories. And if they have questions on that, email me, text me, call me. I'll be glad to tell you. I didn't come up with the idea. A coach taught it to me.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's way more detailed than like a vision board or something like that. You can get a lot more in-depth information in those.
Sure. Although I do want you to know, I have 2 vision boards, one right here,
good.
One behind my backdrop on another door to the bathroom for my office.
Love it.
And that one is the stuff that needs to happen, but it's not critical. It's goals, but not priorities. This one is priorities. This is the stuff I need to be looking at on a regular. Those 50 people I talked about earlier, my top 50 business producing contacts are right there. I can see it every time I walk out this door, so that I'll see those names and think, what have I done for that person today or lately? When's the last time I contacted them?
Building trust.
Yeah. So anyway,
awesome.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's not. We just overthink everything.
Yeah,
and
it's taking the time to get all of these things in place so that you can use them, you can refer to them.
Sure. Being in the moment, right?
Yes.
Kind of be in the moment.
Be in the moment. Well, Mark, thank you again so much. Before we let you go, though, give a big plug, though. How can people get a hold of you, sign up for the Mark's Minute, and where they can buy your books?
Yeah, so obviously you can go to Amazon and buy any of my books. Some of them are actually on sale right now for half price because it's the beginning of the year. And so go to Amazon, look up, just type in trust-based selling Mark Given, right? Trust-based leadership Mark Given. So go to my website, markgiven.com. In fact, let me just give a quick invitation. I'd love for everybody to go online. I know if you can see this. Go on my website and take the free trust test, okay? It's right on the homepage of my website. Just scroll down a little bit. All you got to do is put in your name, where you live, right, and your email address. We'll send you the free trust test. There's 38 questions that you can evaluate yourself on the 4 levels of the pyramid of trust. And then what I recommend is that you give that test to someone else that you trust that will take the test about you, and then you compare it. Right. So you can yourself, and then somebody else gets to, that's where the grind. Prove that's where it helps. So that's all free. If they'll just go to my website, markgiven.com. I'd love for you to buy my books, but just go get the free trust test. Why in the world would you not take the free trust test, right? And then share that with others. And then if there's ever any way I can help, whether it be with one of my books or a speaking engagement or a class or program, just, I just want to help people be the best they can be. And so thank you. God bless you for having me today. Thanks for everybody for listening in.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Absolutely. Mark, we'll have you back. We will absolutely have you back.
Yeah, great advice.
Got lots more we can talk about. So
yeah, absolutely. Life is full of experiences. I want to see those
boards next time.
Oh, okay. I'll take the camera off my computer and show it to you. It's full of stuff. It's full of stuff. So
hey, just real quick, Steve Robinson, which is the principal broker owner of Century 21 Advantage Realty, said, "Great advice today, Mark. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Greatly appreciate it."
Oh, very kind. Thank you, Steve. Very generous of you. Thank you for your kind words.
Mark, thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. Hey, I got another appointment I got to go to, so I'm sorry, and I got to leave. But you all have a great look. I wish you much, much health, happiness, and success. Adam, Jane, everybody that's tuned in. 2021 really can be a good year for us, but we've got to make it that way. There's things we can't control, but we can certainly control our own destiny in many ways. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
God bless you. Thank you, Mark. Awesome.
Great advice. Yeah. Great.
A lot of knowledge, a lot of advice. I will add all of his contact information, website, and everything. We will add to the description at the end of this video once we finish the live show. And of course, we segment the show out, and it will also add that into that separate video. So you guys will have access to those links and everything. So good stuff.
Yeah.
And then Zachary, yes, this was very helpful. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Patricia, trust is gold.
That blog he was talking about, I encourage you all to, sign up for that. It's a free blog every Wednesday. He puts advice in it. I think you can sign up for that through his webpage also. And I'll look into that and let you all know for sure too, or we can post that in the comments.
Perfect. Great advice. Yes. Thank you, Tanya. All right. Well, that completes that segment. We're going to go into the agent spotlight now with Emily Hacker-Todd out of our Lexington office. So let's switch gears into that segment. All right, Jane. So we've got Emily Hacker-Todd out of our Lexington office coming on. And before I bring her on, I want to read her quick little bio that she has about herself, and then we'll bring her into the show.
Great.
So with an intricate understanding of the real estate process, Emily assists with each development, offering advice on contracts to finance issues. She understands that buying or selling a home is an important decision, and with her extensive industry knowledge, she ensures a smooth and worry-free experience. Emily knows that the right knowledge makes all the difference, and with her by your side, you can be sure you have the best industry expertise. It's why she is known as the local specialist. When it is time to buy or sell a property in Kentucky, turn to someone who has a world of experience. Call Emily Hacker today. So let's bring Emily into the show. Emily, welcome.
Thank you so much. And I have to tell you, I am impressed with the green room. Very fancy.
Good.
Always
wanted to be in a green room.
That's great. Well, welcome to the now you're a part of the live show. You're out of the green room now.
Yes. Okay.
I'm kind of in a green room. See, my backlight's green.
You are.
Well, welcome, Emily. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So real quick, before we even get into everything else, just give us a quick bio kind of about your life and how you ended up into the real estate industry for us.
Well, I do want to say, though, Mark's segment was great, and I have been signed up for his messages for several years, the ones he sends out on Wednesday. So he's great. Yes.
Yes.
Well,
you've taken classes of his, haven't you, Emily?
Yes, I have.
Classes of his.
I have. I'm a CRS, and I've taken CRS classes from Mark. Absolutely. He's really good. And hi, Kay. Well, gosh, it's been a lot of years since I did get my license. I had another career in state government. So when I first got my license, I did do part-time, but I don't feel like me personally that I could give my clients 100% with not being full-time. So I did have my license in escrow until I retired from state government, which has been a lot of years ago. And I also practiced when I moved to Florida. I got my license in Florida and practiced there for several years. So I love what I do.
That's awesome.
So Emily, I know you were working and an agent, but what made you initially decide to go get your real estate license?
Well, I helped my grandmother find a house when she sold her farm and moved, what we would say, to town. And it was several years after that, but that did spark an interest for me, absolutely. And went to Pasquale on weekends and got my license. And at that time, too, interest rates were so high, and when people balk at 5 or 6%, I mean, that's not where they are now. They're much lower. But I'm like, oh, my goodness. I remember 14, 15, and 16%. So that's not so bad. But and I do agree, with Mark, it's all about relationships. And I love building those relationships with my clients. Mm-hmm. The only downside is when you sold their home or you found them the home of their dreams, and then you have to move on. Everyone has to move on. And I do have a system to keep in touch, but it's not like the day-to-day. And I do miss that after a closing. So
you're so much a part of their lives while that's going on. And then it's over and you miss talking to them every day and seeing them every week. And
absolutely. And it is all about building relationships, because a home purchase is probably the largest purchase you or I or most people will ever make. And it's so important to establish the trust and building that relationship, that they understand how much your client understands, buyer or seller, how much you care about them. I mean, it's just, you get so close and you care so much about them. You want them to be in the home that's going to make them happy. They're going to build memories. They're going to raise their children, or they're downsizing and they're going to be in retirement. So I just love being a part of that relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Very emotional, isn't it?
It is.
It's very emotional for both you
Yes,
and the
yes.
client.
It is. But it's a great
And we-
opportunity to be a part of that. You know, that's
Yes.
the benefit of being a real estate agent. So I can totally relate to that, Emily.
And we can't forget or get complacent with their excitement.
Yeah.
You know, I get excited every time, we bring a deal together and, they purchase a home, which, I've been through that this week already. And it's just so exciting. A young couple, and they're going to start their family in that home. It's just, we need to feel that excitement and not become complacent, because we sell homes all the time. And it might be easy to get into the complacency of it, but I try never to forget how excited my clients are.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Good advice. It really is.
Good advice. It's very good advice. So on this next question, Emily, it's an interesting question, but it's one that lets people kind of see who you are, that they might just not know, right? So what is something that is interesting about you that others might not know?
Oh, wow. I feel like I'm an open book. Well, I have done some travel. A lot of years ago, I did travel in Europe and really enjoyed that. That people might not know about me, because that was several years ago. And I did ride on the Concorde. So
there you go. You rode on the Concorde?
So,
how fast was it to get over there?
Let's see, from New York to Paris, it was just over 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I went and it was 13. So
wow, rode on the Concorde. That is definitely something.
Well, and that was many years ago, and I'm so happy I did that travel, because now I have no desire really to go out of the country, at least at this point.
Not this year, right?
No, not this year. Yes. I love Italy, and I really would love to go back there, but who knows?
Yeah. Oh, and here, Patricia.
I did love France too.
Love it.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Emily, can you tell us about some of your successes? Maybe one most memorable moment, or one of the many memorable moments you've had in real estate?
Oh gosh, there's been so many, Jane and Adam.
Oh, I'm sure.
So much excitement. And just recently, I had one that they're moving back home here to Kentucky from another state, and they had some problems with financing because they hadn't been back that long, and with jobs and all that. But we had a seller that has agreed to wait for about a month and a half to let them get to where they need to be. And they are so excited and so appreciative.
Yeah, wow.
I help, the seller's help, the other agent. And I have to tell you, after moving back to Lexington and basically starting over in the last 16 months, God has been so good. I have worked with some of the greatest realtors. It has just been such a pleasure, not just with our company, but with other companies. And it's really been a pleasure. And
that's good.
It is.
That's a testament to not only a city, but also just as an association is concerned.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Unlike a
There's-
lot of other industries, that is one thing I would agree with. I think for the most part, us realtors, we come together and work together a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
And it is good to see that.
In the last 16 months, there's been a couple that, had I not had a very good agent on the other end helping with their end of it and not being complacent about it, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative of that. It's not only about relationships with our clients, it's about relationships with other realtors.
Yes.
Along with title companies and lenders. And I have just been very blessed since moving back to Lexington.
Yeah, it's good.
You can move mountains with the right team, can't you?
Yes, you can. Where you think it's almost impossible, you can just pull it together and everybody is happy and satisfied.
Yeah, so true. So true. So Emily, out of all the other brokerages and models that are out there, what was it about Century 21 that made you to want to affiliate with us?
Oh my goodness, because I have been with two other major brokerages in my career. And I have to say, Century 21, let me say, Steve Robinson, the broker and owner, is a phenomenal man. He is a good man. He's a godly man. And working with him, talking about trust, building trust, that didn't take long at all. And everything that he offers, Century 21, of course, a lot of people, if you haven't worked with someone else, brokers can buy into the different products that a franchise offers. And Steve, he offers us everything that Century 21 has to offer. And all the tools, when I say what he offers, it's tools to better our business, tools to just across the board, referrals, education. Oh, and he knows how much education, how much that means to us and how important it is to us as realtors to grow our business. It's just phenomenal what Century 21 has to offer and what Steve offers us. I would never consider ever going anywhere else. I will be here for the duration.
That's awesome, Emily. Thank you so much for that. I would agree. Best company. Great people.
Let's look at our signature question here. What's the one decision that put you on the course to where you are now? Was there a turning point in your career or one final thing that made everything just right?
Well, yeah. I absolutely put all my trust in my Lord and Savior, and becoming born again, that has just changed my life. With trusting him, I know every day when I get up, and trust in God, that everything else will fall into place. Will it be perfect? Absolutely not. But if I didn't have that relation first and foremost, then with God, the rest wouldn't work out. And that moving back here, I put that in his hands and prayed about that for about a year and a half. And it all fell into place. And if you don't have that, for me, if I didn't have that, nothing else would work and nothing else would fall into place. And moved here, found a new church, and just love it. Absolutely love being in Lexington.
That's awesome, Emily. Well said. Well said. Steve says, "You rock, Emily. Glad you're a part of our C21 family."
Wouldn't be anywhere else. Thank you.
Deanna agrees. Absolutely.
Hi, Deanna.
Deb, yes.
Yes. Well, we're a family, aren't we?
Yes.
I mean, we are a true family. That is. And I have been in 3 of the offices. Of course, when I moved here, we didn't have this office yet. So I was working, I'd been from left Somerset, then went to the Richmond office. And I love that. You get to know the different agents on a different level than just our outings with Century 21 functions. So, yes.
That is the great part about this Steve's company and our family situation. You can go to any of those towns, pretty much anywhere around, central Kentucky and south, and walk right into any of those offices and feel at home and get the assistance you need. And we're all on the same team. That's super nice. So
that's right.
A lot of people don't have that.
I was in Danville, I guess about a month ago, maybe not that long ago, and showing, and I needed to write an offer because you know how things are moving so quickly, properties. So I just stopped in our Danville office, wrote up the offer, got it signed, and came on back home. So,
so convenient.
Yes. Very.
Definitely a help.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
Emily, if somebody's wanting to get a hold of you, what is the best way that they can do that, and how do they reach out to you?
Okay, you can reach me by my cell phone, 859-797-2100. And you can also text me. It's really calling or texting is the best way, because email, we all get busy and I might not check the email till an hour or two later, but it's emilyrealtor09@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from anyone looking to buy or sell. Would be wonderful.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the comments, or in the comment as well as the description when we're finished with the video. So if anyone needs to get a hold of Emily, do so. Reach out to her.
Well, let me say one other thing too.
Absolutely.
With you, Adam and Jane, you all are phenomenal with their education, with anything. And I know I probably worry you all more than most, but it's just like Jane helped me last week with my board to keep me organized and on target with my prospects and closings and listings and all of that. So I appreciate you all more than you know.
Thank you, Emily.
We enjoy working with the agents. It's exciting to see what what you're doing and what you're putting together, and to share ideas. So it was fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kathy agrees. I feel the same. I will always be here at C21. Thank you, Kathy. Stephanie, you're awesome, Emily.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks.
All right, Emily, thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate that. And great. Just really enjoy you and get to know more about you and everything. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day.
You too.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. A lot of experience there.
Yeah.
A lot of experience. I mean, can't say enough. She knows what she's doing, and she does care. She does care about her base, her clients.
Yeah, she really does. I'm sitting here thinking over our past few shows, really all of the shows we've done, and it all has a general theme. Everyone that we talk to that's successful says get education. Everyone that we talk to says build these relationships, be genuine, be true, but each one gives us another piece of the puzzle to help us to do that too. Each one has an idea of, what the next step is. So it's been great hearing all the different viewpoints and kind of putting all of that together with those tools. Yep, I agree. I 100% agree with you. The common thread is that it's relationships, being genuine, relating to people, connecting with people. We don't need to complicate this process. Technology is there to help you with addressing those needs of the people, right? It's not to replace that connection. And I think if anything, that's what we've learned in 2020, that is actually more important than ever, connecting and relating. So, and on that, about people, I want to tell you about the lineup, everybody out there that we've got coming on the show. So, I'm excited. Yeah, we've got some good guests lined up. So next week, we're going to have Stephanie Todd, which is our coach / managing broker down there in Somerset, our Somerset office. So she's going to come on. We're going to be talking to her about, kind of her life and how she ended up being in that position and what her main role there is. Then the following week, we're going to have Rhett Harmon, and he's going to come on. He's a Century 21 agent, and he has a whole team. He's very successful, selling a lot of real estate, knows what he's doing, and he has a very interesting approach to technology and building relationships. So we'll dive into that a little bit. Then we have Brian Ellington, which is a Century 21 CFO from major corporate, coming on. He's going to come on, and we're just going to talk about his life that led to him where he is now, and kind of where we are going as a brand with Century 21, because
as you know, Jane, this is our 50th year
50th,
anniversary.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing.
it is amazing. 50 years of being a brand and one of the most recognized brand in the industry because of that. So 50 years, I mean, that's an accomplishment for sure. So we're going to be able to pick Brian Ellington's mind apart and just kind of see what the growth plan is for Century 21 as a whole. Then we have Kyle Saboth coming on, which some of you guys might know who that guy is. He was actually the #1 selling agent inside of Keller Williams and also in the nation. Massive amounts of sale. I mean, 600 and something transactions and multi-million dollars in volume sold. His team is just a rock solid real estate listing and selling machine. And he is now he is now with Century 21.
Yeah. I've seen some interviews with him where he talks about the move and why he moved and things. So it'll be really interesting for you all to hear that. I hope you can make that one. Yeah,
it'd be a good one to hear. A lot of advice, a lot of little nuggets inside of there to hear. So, and then the week after that, we've got the infamous, the coach, the excitable Jared James coming on the show.
Yeah.
So,
and we've met him live before at convention, and a super, super fun guy.
Yes.
Very, very educated, great tips. But yeah,
he knows the industry really well.
That.
He doesn't go over the top. It's everything he teaches is very applicable and very doable. Yeah. And it gets results. And again, talking about the main theme of what we've been talking about with everybody, it's about the same, right? It's relationships and connecting and standing in front of people and being visible. All those things. So it's a good lineup. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm so happy that so many of these people have agreed to come on here and speak to us. It's a great opportunity for us and our company.
It really is. And I'm really enjoying getting to know people. We're talking about relationships. I mean, this is really fun getting to talk to these people and really ask them questions that we kind of need to have answers to. That's the thing is that we can watch all these videos, but how do we make what these people know relatable to where we are in our market? And I think that's the benefit here is able to talk to them, to gather that knowledge to then in a way that will help, the agents in our market. And that's really the goal here. So,
and many of these people charge large sums of money for their services. So it's a great opportunity for us and our agents to be able to ask questions in this environment that we may not have an opportunity to do otherwise.
Yeah. Valid point. Well, Jane, that's the end of the show today.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. It was great to see all of you again.
Always a pleasure, everybody. And I hope you have enjoyed this episode. And if you have, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well as liking our Facebook page to be notified the next time we go live, which will be next Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So until then, you guys have a great week and a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you guys next weekend or next Friday.
Bye, everyone.
See you all.